Hi, this is Tony Ruggiero here on the Tour Coach. Thanks for joining in and thanks for following along. It is my mission to bring you some of the best instructors, the players, mental coaches, fitness experts, everything you need to play better golf, all of the people I find fascinating that can give you information to help you in your pursuit as a teacher or as a player. It's all here on DewsweeperTV or wherever it is you get your podcast. Thanks for watching the Tour Coach podcast, and hopefully this helps you teach better, play better, and enjoy the game. All right, so here we are. We're kicking off Masters Week. It's my favorite week of the year, whether I have a player in it or not. I'm here. We're recording this a few days ahead. I'm here for the Augusta National Women's Amateur with Avery Weed. Shout out to Avery from Mississippi State.
Yep. Go Avery.
Nominated for the Annika Award. Just great talent, great player, great person. But we're here at Sheehan's Irish Pub.
Mm-hmm.
This place is a gold mine, and a true find in Augusta.
It's a hidden gem.
I'm with my good friend who over the years is one of the people I've enjoyed spending time the most with on the road. We've been roommates more times probably than we care to be. With majors, we've had a couple good ones.
Yes.
With Dr. Greg and Colby in the gang.
We've had some big vacations that we got paid for.
Vacations got paid for. Donald Cooper, Coop, as we all know him. And I thought it would be great to start with, I was thinking of things that you and I could talk about. And you're a caddy at Augusta National now.
Yeah, I'm back there.
You back?
Yeah.
And I thought it would be great to talk about. I always feel like when I look back on my players that I've had play there and the time I was fortunate enough to play there, that there's a handful of shots that you've got to play well in order to play well there. And I would guarantee you, if you look back and you look at winners and the champions, and that they played those shots well.
Right.
And I, with your expertise and all you've been through there, I thought it'd be cool for you to kind of tell me what you think are the 9 or 10 most important shots you've got to hit at Augusta.
There are some very important shots, and the one that sticks out that I think about the most is the first shot, because you can't rebuild a practice scenario that replicates that situation.
Mm-hmm.
The crowd sets a stage there. Second, there's no other. Maybe it's close at the Open Championship at a couple courses, but
right,
you got a 20-yard slot.
I mean, they let you get so close to that tee with the ropes. The patrons.
Uncomfortably close.
Correct.
It's 20 yards, and the thing that you just can't practice it. So you got to find an in or something to overcome that situation, because I don't care who you are, you're going to be nervous.
Correct. No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
That's the first one that comes out.
And now, how do you play that shot? If you're caddying for, what should folks look at for that shot? Obviously, you want to. The one thing I thought that was deceiving from when I've been there as a coach, and when I played it, I played obviously the members tees when I played it.
Right.
But is you don't have as much room run out as you left. The bunker and to the right makes you want to go left. You don't have as much room to the right. And I remember when Smiley was in the final group on Sunday, he missed it right, but he missed it just over that bunker, and he actually had a good shot in there and hit it in close. Actually missed it. But
that's quite a poke out there.
But that's a big. You got to be able to hit it to go right. Correct.
That's a big shot. Yeah. There's now the storm is. Helene changed a few things out there. I'm not going to say it's going to come into play that much, but just the different view of this course, it makes it a little more intimidating, because you can see more of the golf course.
Really?
And I feel like, before Helene, it kind of kept you in the moment because you couldn't see a bunch going on. Well, you're going to be able to this year see groups on 5 green from 1 tee.
Which you didn't used to do.
And not that that'll affect anybody, but it's a little different look. I think when all said and done, it's going to do the club just all good.
Don't you think too? This is how Augusta's the only course with a major that we play year in, year out. Say hi to April. Say hi to April. Hey, yep. She's bringing us cocktails. But it's the only major where we play it every year. Yeah. Same course. So I feel like Augusta's that place where people are more familiar with, and how it feels and how it looks is even more important. So I think for players that have been there, with it being different, will make a difference.
Absolutely. It's the wind's different in there now.
Yeah.
You would think it would be a little easier because of the openness, but it's not.
It's not.
It's just as tricky. I mean, just paying attention to the, say, last 20 rounds I've looped in there, the wind has been, I have thought if this player was a better caliber player, I might be struggling right now with the wind because it is blowing everywhere. And I think we're going to get some wind that week. Another thing that I've noticed is 2T used to have a little patch of what we call the second cut. All the way down the left, it's gone. So it goes fairway, pine straw, cliff. So 2T shot is very demanding.
Interesting.
Very demanding.
So would you say that's one of your more important shots?
Absolutely. To get to a good start. Absolutely.
And I agree with you there, because I think the one key I always looked at was if you can get through 1, 2, and 3.
Now, number 4 has always been one of my.
Right. If you can get off under par for the first few holes.
Yeah. In my opinion, if you can get through.
4 and 5 are hard.
If you can walk off a 5 green level any day, you've done your work.
All right. So what would, if you said, okay, so number 1 tee shot's your first most
number
critical.
1 and 2.
1 and 2 tee shots.
1 being because of the crowd. 2 being because it is just demanding.
Yep.
It's 40 yards that you got to land the ball in.
Well, and to me too, tell me if I'm wrong, but there's a huge difference between a guy that kind of whiffs it out safe to the right and gets either in the bunker or right, but can't quite get all the way down there, versus a guy that's able to turn it off that and catch the slope.
Well, in my opinion, what that does is the guy that hits it further at the end of the day is going to be a little more worn out mentally because he's got to make all these decisions. Does he want to hit a 3-wood and lay back, turn it into, a 3-shot hole on 2, which I think I would never as a caddy want my player to do that. I'd want him to stay aggressive, play his game, keep poking on, try to catch that slope. Let's hit us a 5-iron in there and make eagle. But, as you meander through the course and you come up to 3 and it's just nothing sticks out on 3, but it can get you. It's nothing stands out about it.
But you got to hit a great second. You got to hit a good second shot.
It's a second shot hole, right?
So what would you say is okay, so we got tee shots on 1 and 2. What would you say is the next most important?
The next most important shot, in my opinion, is the tee shot on 7, because it's now a tilted fairway from left to right that's not 50 yards wide. And if you get 1 foot off the fairway either way, you're punching out. Now, if you punch out on that hole, you have got to hit 2 excellent shots to make par.
Excellent shot.
Excellent. So there's been a little restructure on 7. Right isn't as severe. So guys, if they don't pay attention, you could blow it over the hole on the right and it would suck back. Well, now it bounces in the bunker. That bunker should be a pond. It's going to cost you a stroke, without a doubt.
I agree with that, and I think 7's a hole that guys get some birdie looks if they hit a good drive.
Yes, 7.
But that's one of those holes you can go either way.
I've really paid attention to it here lately, and 7 is like from the pro tees. You could hit a 5-wood or a 3-wood and it opens up the fairway, but now you're standing back there with a 7-iron, and that green is not going to hold a 7-iron if it's firm. So that tee shot to me is very important, no matter what club they hit. I love seeing a guy take something low there and hitting a low one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the high ones, the wind's usually left to right, and the sloping of the fairway, it's just the right trees. These new trees that are planted by a genius. A genius. I mean, it is unbelievable. I'm not to jump ahead, but number 10 used to be you could hook the ball as much as you wanted to hook it, and it would still be in the fairway. Well, it will still be in the fairway, but there are 3 trees there now that you will be laying up maybe short of that big bunker.
Wow.
The it's precise.
All right, so we got 1, 3, and 7 tee shots.
Yeah,
now what's the next?
I hate to jump right into it, but the most important, in my opinion, on the front is 4 tee ball. The approach to that par 3. It's the hardest hole on the front, in my opinion.
The 4th hole,
yes,
par 3.
Yes. You're playing at 2:30. You could be playing it at 7:40 in the morning. It could be cold. I hear it's going to be cool.
In the morning.
Yep. So, you know, I can remember one year we're paired with Bernhard Longer. And I think I was caddying for Ben Carr, but we get up there early in the morning and Longer pulls out 3-wood, and I'm like, he's got the wrong. But I knew Terry gave him the correct yardage, and he sends this 3-wood out over the trees on the left and just cuts it in there, and I'm like, just astonished. It's 8 feet.
There's a reason he's got a green jacket.
Correct. But how many guys have that sack?
Correct.
So that is super important. I don't know if people remember, but Phil lost it one year right there on 4. He hit it left, made double or triple.
Well, I mean, the year Smiley played in the final group, Smiley had played the first 3 holes fine, hits it on the green, and Jordan hits it in the pine straw, and he clipped a tree to come down there. I still say that thing might have gone out of bounds if it hadn't hit the tree.
Absolutely, yeah.
And he gets it up and down, right? And that, to me, was Smiley obviously didn't have a good day, and he finished 20th something or whatever, but, like, hit it great on the front. But, like, that was the turning point of that 9. Like, if you're in that last group, you think you're going to get a stroke back, right?
Yeah.
That's a huge deal.
It is. And then, you know, you got to come to 5. And, I mean, 5 is, and again, you got 35 yards to hit this driver in. That's not easy. If it's left, you're making 5. If it's right, you're making 5. You know, no shot on that hole jumps out like we should work on it on the range. The next shot that really sticks out to me is 9 approach.
Yes.
Number 9 approach shot. They're going to be hitting it way down there. It's playing, you know, right now it's firm, rolling good. So they want you to get on that upslope. They want it playing fast and want you on that upslope to create spin. They want that ball spinning off.
Yeah.
So you got to, during the week, practice your shot from whether it's 110 or 150, having no spin on that golf ball.
The reason I think that's such a big shot is because you got to be able to hit a number and control your spin. You can't just hit the number. You've got to hit the number and you got to control your spin.
And you're exactly right. That's why I say you have to practice that shot.
Which one of my picks for the week we talked about inside is Rory.
Right.
Now he's going to have to become a better iron player this week than he traditionally has.
And
he's going to have to wedge it better than he has.
Because Rory in the 9, if he hits his best, he's going to have 110 to a middle pin. Well, the problem with that is not the shot; it's the spin. You can hit to that middle pin and spin it off the front.
That's great. That's an awesome point there.
I mean,
that's a great thing to look at for people that are watching, and whether they're pulling for people in their pools or they're cheering or they're betting.
Or if you're watching on the range and you know, some guys aren't concerned with where the ball goes.
Yeah.
It's how it reacts when it hits the ground. Controlling the spin. And as we move on, I mean, 10, nothing sticks out. I mean, it's just demanding, but
the only thing I'd say about 10 is if you're a fader of the golf ball, that's a hard tee ball.
It's a 3-wood.
You got to turn around.
Yeah. That's the only thing you
now,
can
like
do.
that should be, obviously in the past it wasn't, but for Rory, that should be a dream tee ball.
Yeah, he should hit 9-iron in there.
Yeah.
But like you said, somebody that does not draw the ball, they have to be so aware of that run out on the right. Now, it does create a bit of a better angle being over there, but you're 3 clubs more. And, you know, no pro wants to hit 3 clubs more. So that's to cutters, to make par on 10 would be great.
So 11?
11's been, I don't like to use the word, but it's been softened up maybe.
A little bit.
The tee's been actually lowered.
It's still it's still a hard driving hole and a hard second shot.
Got a little bit of a ramp on the left. the approach shot, I would say, is one of mine. Yes, definitely. Something I would have my player work on would be the approach to 11.
Well, and I think the thing about 11 is coming in, you have to know in the situation where's okay to leave it.
Right. And a lot of guys aren't used to hitting a miss long. And that's the play there. It's long.
Correct. No doubt about it.
Long, no matter where, but it's just long.
All right, so now we're going to go to 12.
And
12
then
obviously has to be one of the 9 biggest shots
most
of the
puzzling holes in golf.
Mm-hmm.
I can't understand how 4 yards from the front left to the front right can wreak so much havoc.
Yep.
It's 4 yards, but it gets everybody. If you go right of that right target, it adds 12 because of the way it runs away. But that's demanding. I think the drop, if a player loses his mind on that hole and takes an incorrect drop, I'm not saying anybody's done it in the past.
They have in the one we were talking about.
I'm just saying you got to keep your mind about you.
That's equally to me as a caddy deal.
Absolutely.
Right? Like when things start to, when the shit hits the fan
and your guy's mind spinning $1,000,000 to nothing, you have to say no.
Correct.
You need to do this or suggest it, you know.
All right, so 12 obviously.
And
13.
13, you know, I really think if a guy uses his head and does his work and realizes his approach is uphill, it's not downhill.
See, I think the second shot on 13 is more important than the tee shot.
Absolutely. The
second shot, unless you hit a really bad shot left.
Yeah.
Guy Luke Herndonine, you may not, but he's the instruction editor at Golf Digest. He posted a thing today with Tiger, and one of the ones he won, I can't remember, but on 13, he was aimed so far right because no way he was going to miss it left, right? Because if you don't hit it in that creek, you are going to for sure at least be able to make par.
And probably birdie.
Right? Even if you miss it way right, you're going to be able to hit it out there. You know, so
but hold on. One thing that astounds me about that hole is when we're playing it and the pin is back left, the pro wants to go way past the front of the green to have this angle. And I've always thought, as I was talking to my player, so what makes you think you can't pull it in the creek, but you can cut it in the creek? If we're hitting it past the front, let's go for the green.
Yeah.
I never really.
No, I agree with that. So I think that second shot on 13 is so important.
It is.
Because.
And whether you're laying up or, you know, because if you can get it.
You got to lay it up in the right spot.
If you can get it left to that front pin, it's so much easier.
No question.
So it is a second shot hole. And then 14 is just. They got a new pin placement on the right. It's a little plateau front right where the ball, if you run it on the back of the green, does not come to the hole. It just goes to the left edge. The right edge.
That's some good info there.
So that's going to be one where guys are going to be shocked with when they get up there and they thinking they got 8 feet and they got 25. And then if you put it a little past the hole, it goes down off the front.
For sure.
Great pin placement. Everything they do out there is just top notch. And
so 15
approach. I mean, it's not a demanding drive, but it's a decision make. You have to. I think you have to have some type of a table to make a decision off of.
We talked about that
whether
earlier.
It be yardage,
you and I off the air,
whether it be lie, whether it be something, you have to have. Okay, we can't. You don't want to ponder.
And like, to me, the thing about 15 is it's equally. The most important thing there is your distance control, because you can't, especially if it's firm, you can't go long.
And even so, your layup is so important. And I think that's, you know, the caddy's job to find out how far the ball's rolling, because as I was caddying weeks in the past, I noticed this ball kept rolling more and more on 15. And then one day, one of my caddy buddies lays his member up in the water. And I'm like, it's up to speed now.
It's up to speed.
So it could change during the week how far you can.
Well, from the times I've been there, they normally soften it before Monday.
Yep.
And then it gets back firm. And last year, but I've heard this story a couple of times, but Bill Harmon told me about caddying for Jay Haas there. And it was, I forget which year it was. It may have been 86 when Jack won. But they get to 15, and they had the agreement that at a certain number he would they would go other than that. But he was playing great.
I like that number.
And they were a little outside that number.
And they went.
Bill thought he was fired up, and Jay flushes it in there, and he makes a great birdie. But then they walk off. Basically, he's like, you know,
we went off our game plan,
right? But
and
you know the deal. But like,
you
I had a good feeling, right? But like, and that's where you guys have the feels,
right?
So 16,
nothing really. I mean,
you just have to hit
I'm thinking a hole in one there, unless it's a back pin or that right pin. Any other pin on that front portion, no thoughts other than make that.
17, second shot.
Just demanding. You know, it's another hole where the fairway's been reduced by overhanging trees on the left, and they've planted some new ones on the right at the very end, which would be the beginning of the trees on 15, right of 15, drawn out into the fairway.
Okay.
So you hit it in the fairway on the right, and you're blocked. You pull it a little bit, you're in the fairway, you're blocked. That's going to be, in my opinion, one of the most demanding driving holes of the week. Is 17.
Now to the last hole, 18. First of all, that tee shot is I saw a video the other day of
what it used to be.
It was, one of my favorite things is to watch the old Crenshaw wins, right? But I was watching, maybe it was on YouTube or something, one of those, and just how much further they were up, how different it looked, and versus how it is now.
If people pay attention, you don't you can't tell year by year, but that tee now is from where they used to tee. It's 55, 60 yards back.
Yes.
And I mean,
easily.
It looks like an alleyway because the storm has bent some trees. So they're crisscrossing. And I mean, you have an alley to hit it through. And then that's not the most important. You got bunkers on the left. The magnolia's growing on the right.
It's better to miss it in that bunker left than it is.
Right is so dead.
Because right, you got nothing.
Nothing. They have gone in those little wooded areas and planted all these beautiful magnolias and just shrubs that just block you.
Yeah.
There's used to be you could get lucky and punch one out up to the front of the green.
You can't.
But now it's sideways. Yeah.
All right. So, and then, I think the approach shot into 18 is, it's hitting your number.
When the pin's back, I think the approach shot is twice as hard.
Yeah, correct.
When it's up front, you got a big margin of error with your backstop.
Yeah.
But still.
I remember it, when Smiley was in that last group, I remember on Saturday, he shot the low round of the day and the pin was back and he had gone through. But that was the play.
Yes. Right. Definitely.
So it's going to be a great week.
Going to be a great week. I got one thing that really
can't wait.
Really bothers me.
What is this?
Sense. We used to be able to. They had the East Range, which had slope. There's not one place on that golf course to practice an uneven lie.
Our boy Hack would love that.
Right. So these boys might want to start coming to the camp because everything is just it's flat.
Yeah.
And you can't hit two shots on the course without getting kicked out. So it's going to be tough because I see more slope. I don't know why. I see more slope on that course.
All right. So last question as we wrap this Monday for us at Augusta. Been out there a long time, heading into the week. Give me one or two, three people you think gonna have a good week next week.
I'm picking Rory as the obvious, and
see, I am too, and I think everybody says, oh, it's easy to pick it because he's not, but he's had not great results there. But I like him this week,
and I think that there's something inside of him that wants it, like every man that plays golf, and he's good enough to overcome one bad shot. He can overcome that.
He's gonna have to wedge it better and gonna have to iron it a little better.
And my dark horse is that Batia.
You like Akshay, don't you?
I do. He putts it well. He moves the ball
both ways, and he's crazy long.
He does this with different windows.
And he's played well this year.
Yeah, I don't know why, but that would be my pick.
I love that. I'm gonna use that pick.
Let's see.
Coop,
y'all stay tuned and we'll watch it.
Coop, you're the best ever. Love you, buddy.
Thank you, folks.